Can I use the litter box myself and try that?
Not the.
I know.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. We're here for a Taos Municipal Schools Board of Education regular board meeting. Today is Wednesday, August 5th, 2026. For the record, it is 6:03 p.m. I would like to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Can I please get a roll call?
President Flores,
Present.
Vice President Spray,
Here.
Secretary Trujillo,
Here.
Board Member King,
Here.
Board Member Concha.
Okay, item 3 is the Pledge of Allegiance. If we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Board Member King, if you don't mind leading us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Board Member King.
Sure. Welcome, President Martin.
Item 4 is our land acknowledgement statement. It is respectful to recognize the unique and enduring relationship that exists between Indigenous people and their traditional territories. We acknowledge that we are on the historic homeland of the Red Willow people within the original territory of Taos Pueblo. This acknowledgement will oblige as a reminder of our ongoing efforts to respectfully recognize, honor, reconcile, and partner with the Red Willow people whose land and water we benefit from in this great valley today. Item 5, approval of the meeting agenda. Superintendent, are there any board members, any proposed changes or amendments?
No, sir, not here.
No? None? With that, I will go ahead and make a motion to approve the meeting agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a second from Vice President Spray. Please call for the roll.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo, Vice President Spray,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes. Okay, item 6 is public comment. We have 4 individuals signed up for public comment. I will call out your name here shortly. And prior to that, I need to read our public comment procedure. So any interested person may submit data, views, or arguments in writing to the board on any school-related topic by submitting their comments to Executive Secretary Samantha Gonzalez at samanthagonzalez@taoschools.org. An individual or representative wishing to give public comment shall register prior to participating in public comment. Additionally, when registering for public comment, the speaker shall be required to identify the subject matter of their proposed comment when they register. It doesn't seem like we have that item. We're gonna have to amend this sheet here. Speakers are allotted 3 minutes or an amount otherwise designated by the board president at the beginning of the meeting. The board president in his or her sole discretion may shorten and lengthen the comment period time to ensure that the meeting is efficiently and promptly conducted. All speakers are required to abide by all time limitations. All speakers are strongly encouraged to avoid personal attacks, to utilize all administrative avenues for complaint resolution before bringing issues to the board, to avoid identifying students in comments, and to present all comments professionally and respectfully. If you are an individual with a disability who is in need of a reader, amplifier, qualified sign language interpreter, or any other form of auxiliary aid or service to attend or participate in the hearing or meeting, please contact the office of the superintendent at least 1 week before the meeting or as soon as possible. When you are called up to speak in public comment, if you could please state your name and just give a brief description of what you're going to be speaking on. There is a 3-minute time allotted. We tend to be pretty gracious here as long as it is kept between 3 to 5 minutes on the public comments. So first up is Mr. Paul Padilla. Padilla, thank you for joining us.
Guys, good evening, Superintendent, ladies and gentlemen, members of the school board.
We have a microphone there. If you could just
Okay.
light it towards you.
Can you hear me? Okay, well, my name is Paul Padilla, and I'm here today to talk about Northern Basketball League, formerly known as Taos Adult Basketball League. Before I talk about the league, I'd like to share a little bit about myself. I'm alumni of Capitol High School in Santa Fe. My wife is from Taos. She graduated from here. My kids have all been through the school system here. Been here 26 years. A little nervous. So growing up, I was in an accident when I was in my early 20s, and the doctor put me on some pain meds at the time, and I wasn't aware of how these things can affect your life. Nonetheless, it started was a roller coaster. I had some ups and downs, and with addiction comes a lot of ups and downs, dishonesty, my family hurting them, and the community. But I've been sober going on 4 years now from that life. I work up in Los Alamos. I've been there a little over 4 years. But with the help of my family and my wife and kids, I got a second chance at life. And for me, that's a big deal. It's huge. So enough about that. So when Jojo approached me about taking over Taos Adult Basketball League, he saw my passion for the game and believed in me. I was truly honored that he trusted me to continue in his footsteps and has meant so much to our community. This basketball league has been a part of Taos for more than 50 years. I first joined the league back in 2000 when Pete Gallegos and Leroy Vargas were running it, and later Jojo took it over for the last 17 years. Basketball has always been a part of my life, my family's life. My children have been involved in sports since they were very, very young, playing from elementary school through high school. My son Gene is a senior this year and plays varsity basketball. My son Anthony is a 2022 grad, played varsity since 10th grade, and selected as North-South player by coaches. My daughter Brooke was a 2020 grad, played basketball, volleyball, and dance. My daughter Delilah, 2019 grad, was in track and dance. My daughter Mariah was 2016 grad, was a multiple champion cheerleader. Taking over the league has been a whirlwind. With the help of my wife and our kids, we built the Northern Basketball League from the ground up. We formed an LLC, purchased insurance, created a website and logos, and learned what it takes to run a community basketball league. Running this league has given me a sense of purpose. It has allowed me to give back to the community through the game that has given me so much. Last season, we were grateful to be able to use the Taos Middle School gym. Unfortunately, we experienced an unexpected setback when one of our very own Taos Tigers D1 player became excited, dunked the ball during the game, and briefly hung on the rim, which loosened the mounting bracket on the basketball goal. As a result, we were informed that we could no longer use the gym. Our remaining games had to be canceled on short notice. We did not receive a refund for the gym rental, and we had to find another facility and pay additional costs just to finish the season. Despite those challenges, we remain committed to our players and our community because we believe that this league is important. Today, I am here and I am asking for your support. My hope is that we can secure the use of a school gym for the upcoming season now in November, so we can continue providing a safe, organized, and positive place for our adults in our community to play basketball. We are fully insured, we respect school property, and we are committed to following every rule and expectation the district sets. Thank you for your time, your consideration, and for allowing me to share my story. I sincerely hope you consider partnering with Northern Basketball League so we can continue serving the Taos community for years to come.
Thank you, Mr. Padilla. If you could provide some contact information with our executive secretary, and we'll have the superintendent reach out to you
Okay.
to discuss your request.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Next is Ms. Margaret Vasquez Padilla. Okay. Okay, that's good. So you're fine. It happens all the time. Do we also have is it Delilah? Okay, all right. Well, thank you for your presence in tonight's meeting. Thank you, Mr. Padilla, for your comments. Next is Mr. Steve V. Hill.
Okay, thank you to the board. Good afternoon, Taos School Board members, staff, parents, students, and community. My name is Steve Vigil, and I appreciate your time to listen to my concerns, as I feel it is very important to our community and school system. I am here for the cell phone policy disciplinary actions. I want to be very clear that I am not here to argue the Taos Municipal School stance on cell phones during school hours. I do not agree with the disciplinary measures taken if a student is caught with their cell phone at school. To go through it real quick, the first time you get caught, your phone is taken away. You're given back your phone at the end of the day. The second offense, it's taken away for 3 school days. So if it gets picked up on a Friday, or you get caught with it on a Thursday, you won't have it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. So depending on when you get caught, it can land up being 5 days, not 3. And then if it's a third offense, it could be for up to 21 school days. So I mean, at that point, you could go into losing your phone for over a month. And this is my concern. I feel that having cell phones out of the schools, I'm friends with many of you, with many teachers, and I think it's been good for the education. I think the kids aren't on TikTok. They're not answering a bunch of text messages from friends all day, and they're focusing more on school. So I know it was a very controversial subject, and I want to commend you guys because I think it was a big step. And overall, I even hear from students that they're able to focus better. So I want to be very clear. I'm not against that cell phone policy, just against the disciplinary actions. And these are the reasons that I'm against the disciplinary actions.
1 minute.
I can go, I'm a father of one. I have 2 graduates from Taos High School. I have a granddaughter that might come to Taos High School. I've coached the AFL. We're a big part of the community when it comes to being there for Taos High School. And I know a lot of the kids, and we live in a rural community. And the first thing that, that I feel is that many of our students go to practice, and a lot of them have to get permission to take other kids home. And some of our students are the sole provider in their family, even though they're in high school, and they're picking up little brothers and little sisters, and mom or dad has 2 jobs and they're at work. We had cows out in Settle, and Sam used to drive out there and feed them at the end of the day. And I'm concerned about the safety aspect. If there's a
3
car
minutes.
accident, if there's an abduction, if there's any type of trouble or emergency, that without their cell phones, it's going to be putting their safety at risk. I also want to talk about our rights. Our Fourth Amendment rights are that, you cannot have something seized from you unless you've committed a crime. And I understand that the state has passed this policy, and they're leaving it up to each school district to enforce it, and depending on your area, to do fit with what they think is right. But that's still a violation of our Fourth Amendment. A crime hasn't been committed. I understand the policy, but a policy is not a law. And our Constitution is something that I proudly stand up for, and I hope everybody does, that they stand up for. And that's another big part of it, why I don't feel it's right. If you get pulled over by a police officer and you're on the cell phone, they don't take your phone away from you and say, come get it
4
back in
minutes.
7 days. But that's what we're allowing our school system to do. And even though it's good for the educational part of keeping the phones out of schools, I feel that from a safety standpoint, that it's not worth taking that right away from parents or kids when it comes to their safety. And part of the communication, I've already talked with the superintendent about this. April 8th of last year, I was going to come to the school board and put a presentation. We talked and had a plan to come up and get a committee together that was part of students and teachers and parents, and try to come up with some type of good plan. Unfortunately, I know he's very busy, as all of you are, and it wasn't able to happen. And when I found out that nothing changed on it, I was very upset. And so I wanted to come right away
5
And,
minutes.
and put my concerns here at the table with you guys. And I'm hoping that, time is of the essence before school starts. I would hope for a child of ours to get in an emergency, not be able to report an emergency, or get hurt or go missing because of a policy. Thank you very much for your time.
Mr. Vigil,
Thank
thank you
you.
for your concerns. We'll take a look at the policy, and I believe that you've been in contact with the superintendent, so we'll make sure that we reach out to you
Yes, sir.
and
Thank
include you in the
again.
include you in the process. Thank you, Mr. Vigil. Any other members of the public wishing to speak during public comment? Do we have anybody online, Mr. Tet? If you're online and wish to speak during public comment, please raise your hand. Okay, so that concludes our public comment for tonight. I do want to acknowledge those individuals that did come to speak. We are always happy to hear from the public and appreciate your time this evening. Moving right along to item 7, which is presentations. We have item 7.1, which is our New Mexico School Board Association Board of Directors presentation. We have the honor of Mrs. Cynthia Spray, our Vice President, giving us this presentation.
The honor, oh my God.
Turn it over to you.
It's going to be real short. The state school board met for a couple hours during the conference at the Sagebrush recently. And the big issue that was decided upon was something that will be good news for everybody, I think. In the School Board Association requires that the board members get a certain amount of training every year in certain categories of training. And sometimes it's hard to get all that done in a conference, or sometimes you miss a conference or whatever. So after much arguing over the topic, we all decided that in every year in October and November, they will put the courses online for us in case we missed a conference or something, so we can do it at home online, and we can get our points that way. Because they'd rather that we learned what we need to learn rather than punish us for not having been able to go. They also said that they hope that people don't that they still will come to conferences and don't just decide to do them all online, because part of the conferences are getting to know each other and so on. But that will, the networking and so on. So that will start this year, this school year. We'll be able to, if you don't have everything that you need in every category, you'll be able to do it at home, which is great. I think I voted that way because I think that education, any way you get it, is a good thing. So that will be that's a new policy. The rest of the things we talked about were just mostly safety things and stuff like that doesn't need to be reported on. I will say that there was quite an issue at the Sagebrush with some of the rooms, and they're thinking about not doing it in Taos. We do every other year with Cloudcroft. And so I mentioned that I think that the natives, I think at the Pueblo, they're doing a new conference, kind of a conference center. Hopefully that might be ready in time. And I talked to the state school board about that, and not to give up on Taos yet, just to see, but there were a lot of problems with the rooms. They weren't happy with them. So that's that. But what I'd like is, it's so good when people come to visit Taos. I think we should try and really make it work for them some way or another.
Well, maybe we could reach out to sure that they express their concerns to the.
They did, and I did too. One of the front desk people I used to work with at the town. And so they knew about it for sure, and they did what they could to fix it, but some of them are needing repair. Actually, the Sagebrush is going to be 100 years old in 2029. So some rooms need some upgrades. And they were very nice about it, and tried to move people into other rooms and so on, but they need to do a facelift, I think. So we'll see, but we should stay on that with Mr. Guillen.
Well, thank you, Vice President Spray. Does the board have any questions for Vice President Spray?
Well, maybe we can, it'd be great if the Pueblo, if the Marriott is done. If not, we can maybe talk to the lodging, the hotels, and maybe let them know, and we can work out a rate. Don Fernando and Hampton.
Yeah, we don't have to, convention center is an important thing in a tourist town. So, but hopefully the Marriott thing will be, I don't know the timing on that, do you?
I have no idea, maybe Board Member Concha.
Okay.
I think we can be at the conference center, unfortunately, just not stay there, like you said.
Oh, maybe we could do, maybe that,
We do
whatever.
a quasi.
We'll work it out. And I don't mean to put the Sagebrush down. They're very good at the food was great and a lot of things were good. They just need, like all hotels, every once in a while they need an upgrade.
I have a question for you, Vice President Spray. So you mentioned that they're going to allow online access to the school board trainings for those in the board members that aren't able to, I guess, make the conferences. When do they plan to initiate that?
This November and December.
Oh, okay, so starting in November and
Yeah,
December.
I'm sorry, October and November. They want to do it toward the end if you haven't been able to fulfill your requirements. They don't want you to use that as something in the summer, for example. If there's a conference in the summer, they'd like you to go. But anything that you feel like you need to fill in with, they're gonna allow them, that's gonna be allowed to do online. At the end of the year, when you take a look at your thing at the beginning of October or whatever.
Secretary Trio?
Would you describe exactly what, for the audience and exactly what we're referring to as part of the training that is required and for the school board? And because I think that it's important that the public knows exactly what is required of us to be able to hold these positions. And so would you like to elaborate on that?
Me? Oh,
Yeah.
that you're talking to.
No, she asked you to, but.
So, yes, I guess that's a pretty loaded question. So we are required to obtain, I don't have the exact amount of hours in front of me that the school board needs to accomplish, but we are required to reach a minimum number of educational or continuing educational hours with anything from school governance to legal matters to,
There's 5 categories.
there's 5 categories, yes.
Mhm.
Anybody want to help me out with the different categories?
Oh,
I think there's governance.
governance.
You can pull that
It's
up.
legal.
We do a law conference. We do an annual conference that kind of pulls on
The legislative
every,
conference also?
we do the legislative conference, that's right. Where we go to the legislature. We have to do it or we can't stay up here
I
every.
think it's a minimum of, it's actually a very low minimum that you have to maintain.
Well, the new board members have more than once you're a veteran board member, the hours are cut down a little bit because they figure you're just reviewing. But at the beginning, you have to do a lot of hours of training.
So I'm
In each
informing the
category.
superintendent
It's
here. that-
leadership, safety, student safety. It's like 5.
Leadership is another one, yeah, you're right.
And it's,
You want to?
Just based off of what I'm seeing, I believe it's laws and department policies and procedures, public school finance, budgeting, legal concepts pertaining to local school boards and school districts, including the Open Meetings Act and Inspection of Public Records Act, effective governance practices, and student achievement and student support services.
There we
Thank
go.
you, Sam.
perfect.
So we have approximately, I think, like 4 conferences that are held annually.
That is correct. In fact, since all of you, all of our board here is past their first year of service, they're also required to complete a minimum of 5 hours annual training in laws, department policies, public school finance, local school board's role in evaluating and improving student academic achievement, school board's role in providing a safe learning, legal concepts, effective governance, and others matters deemed relevant by the department. And so since y'all are past the first, that this would be more apropos for you.
And they typically send our hours to the district to inform the school district as to if we've accomplished the minimum requirements. Have they sent those out yet?
We haven't received them yet, but it's also a public link where you can place your name and see exactly which trainings are needed.
We need to do that.
Yes.
They send them to Ted too.
The other comment that I think that we should make is that in attending these conferences and attending these trainings, they monitor your attendance to the point where you have a QR code at the very end of each session. So you have to have that code and you do that QR emblem, and then you're given a code that you have to enter that you have attended that course. That's how they track our attendance. So it's very important that we attend these conferences, but that are required of us because they're statutorily required. It isn't something that we have a choice whether we want to attend or not. It's been statutorily required that we attend these courses.
And the public has access to that link. They could access the link to view what board members have attended what and to some extent in their amount of hours.
That is correct, President Flores.
Okay.
All right,
Well,
thank you. Thank you.
Vice Secretary Chu, for putting me on the spot. I'm sorry,
No,
Over
but it's
there.
hard to remember all of them. It's a lot. It is a lot.
I just attend the conferences as many as I can, I think with all of us, and just we choose a course that pertains to something we're interested in or something we could gain more knowledge in. And I always tend to get quite a bit out of it. In fact, we had speaking of discipline, I recall that I attended a class on the impact of exclusionary discipline on student outcomes in school climate. And I really got a lot out of that one where it talks about when you suspend the students and remove them from the school environment, how it negatively affects the student outcomes and how it's, and I have it actually right here, how it's best to find alternative measures to keep the children in the school than rather than suspend them. So,
And President Flores, if I may, I think for all board members, I've attended the conferences as well. I think they put a little code at the very end that you'll enter. And it's just for board members. So that's how, back to Secretary Trujillo's comments, for tracking purposes. So
and speaking of superintendent, now that he speaks, I'm happy to see that when we attend these conferences, superintendent doesn't get any credit for attending the classes, but he's in quite a bit of them alongside all of us. So he's continuing to educate himself. Okay, thank you for that. Item
You're
8
welcome. Thank you.
is consent agenda. We got 5 items under the consent agenda. I'll just run through them real quick. 8.1 is approval of meeting minutes for July 22nd, 2026. Special board meeting, a regular board meeting for July 22nd, 2026, and a special board meeting work session for July 21st, 2026. 8.2 is cooperative educational services to provide a licensed and certified social worker for the 26-27 school year in the amount of $124,583.90. This is for our exceptional programs. 8.3 is the purchase of Imagine Learning software to support English language learners. Cyber Magnet and Taos Tiger Connect Academy in the amount of $149,466.50. This is for our federal programs. And 8.4, AccuStripe parking lot and curb striping services for Taos Municipal School District parking lots in the amount of $37,820.34. 8.5 is a donation of $250 by Ortiz and Zamora Attorneys at Law, LLC, for the 2026-2027 Taos Municipal School District Convocation. Superintendent, do you have a recommendation on the consent agenda?
President Flores, Vice President Spray, members of the board, I recommend approval of the consent agenda 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, 8.4, and 8.5 as read by yourself, President Flores.
We have a recommendation from the superintendent, and prior to a motion for approval, does the board have any questions, comments, or concerns with the items on the consent? Hearing none, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve. Can I get a motion?
So move to approve the consent agenda as written, 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, 8.4, 8.5.
Can we get a second? I will second Vice President Spray's motion for approval of the consent agenda. Call for the roll.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo,
Yes.
Vice President Spray,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes. Item 9 is our superintendent report. Dr. Antonio Layton Jr., we got a total of 5 items on there, and I'm going to turn it over to superintendent to lead us through.
President Flores, Vice President Spray, members of the board. So as part of my presentation for today's board meeting, I want to start off by a Town of Taos presentation that we did at a work session on, I believe it was Monday, July 27th, where we presented to the Town of Taos. It was a work session, but we wanted to inform the town of just the initiatives and some of the events for the upcoming year. So we did mention about our strategic plan and how that we did get that approved. It is online for the public to see. We also talked about the convocation where I nicely requested to see if we can get the parking fee meters waived, and we did get approval. So for Friday's convocation at the TCA, parking fees will be waived. So our staff will be able to park and not have to worry about putting in their credit cards. So, but we did let them know that this is a third annual event. We also talked about our Community Schools Career Carnival, that it is occurring tomorrow from 3 to 6, I believe, here at Parr Field. We've got many booths here. In fact, I do have, well, he just stepped out. But we have many booths, many career opportunities, a lot of information to share out, for school sites as well and different businesses. So we encourage the public to attend Parr Field tomorrow from 3 to 6. We also discussed about the upcoming potentials educational and alumni foundations. We talked about the new wrestling and training facility, the Dan Baroni. Some of the bond updates, as well as the Ranchos Elementary sports fields. And we did invite the public we took opportunity to invite the public to go to our Board of Education website, Diligent, so that they could subscribe, so that anytime that our agendas are posted, they get a notification, and so hopefully they'll take advantage. Last review, just as a side note, we have a little over, I believe about 20 people already from the community that have signed up for notifications. So once the board agenda gets approved and we post it, they receive notifications so that they know we're having a board meeting and a link to the agenda as well. And of course, we talked about our back to school issue, which I want to commend our Director of IT and Communications, Ms. Gentet. She really did a fantastic job of revamping it to look a little bit more modern and pleasant to the reader. So that was what we presented at the Town of Taos on Monday. A small picture of myself, Associate Superintendent Renata Mondragon, and Director of Safety and Security, Marcos Herrera. Next up, did some home visits that afternoon, actually right after the Town of Taos. Associate Superintendent and myself, we went out to conclude our home visits to the potential rerouting of buses in the Arroyos area. We did provide some letters in Spanish for the 26-27 school year potential, just to assist in student enrollment. We did get some additional feedback, parent feedback. Some welcome the change. Some believe that if the route was to take, they would choose to take their kids to the Enos because it's closer to work for them. So there's just a little bit of mixed feedback. And we're getting ever so close to getting the boundaries so that we can present a plan to the board in a future meeting. Let's see. All right, the next one on the 29th, which was a couple of days afterwards, we had our third yearly 26-27 data review and goal setting work session with our district and campus leaders. So what we did, we took preliminary data, we discussed with our school sites, and what I emphasized is that now that our board has approved the 26-29 strategic plan, this is what guides our district. And I challenged our leaders that we don't want to be like some others that you get a strategic plan and you just shelve it. And so we emphasized and overemphasized that this is what's driving our goals, that this is what the board expects of the district, the three main goals, and it's our role and responsibility to achieve these goals. So what they were doing was reviewing the strategic plan, reviewing preliminary data, and aligning their site goals and department goals based on the strategic plan 3 goals that was provided and approved by the board. So it was a good morning. There's some good news and there's some so-so news, that the good and bad and the ugly, like we talk about. Once we solidify all the information and are able to present it, which I hopefully anticipate will be at the next board meeting, we'll be able to see how the district did, school site, as well as the district. But I will say it was a great day of collaboration. They got a chance to really align their school site goals and how they're going to achieve them by aligning it to their strategic plan. Up next, just a little bit of tidbit of information of some of the upcoming events. Of course, tomorrow's the carnival from 3 to 6 p.m. It'll be here in Parr Field. We have Enos Garcia Meet the Teacher Night on Monday, August 10th. We have the Back to School Open House on the 10th as well for Arroyos between 3:30 and 5:30. and our back to school bash, August the 8th, 5 PM to 6 PM. And so I did ask Raul Gonzalez, our community schools coordinator for the district. He is here in case anybody had any questions about tomorrow's carnival, Resource and Career Carnival, but fantastic job because I think we have quite a bit of participation for tomorrow, correct?
Would it be your principal, if Mr. Gonzalez could just speak a little bit about all the work that went into tomorrow's event and just kind of, for the record, speak to what's planned?
Superintendent Layton, President Flores, members of the school board. Thank you for having me and asking about the event. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for our students of the district, one that I don't think has ever happened before, which I think is actually really great. So it kind of started with just making sure that our students and families had the resources that they need to go back to school. Then it kind of grew from there where, why don't we have some more community partners come in and allow the students the opportunity to see exactly what they do at their jobs because they might take interest in it. Then, I found out that there's many internship opportunities across our county as well. So it kind of just ended up being kind of one size fits all type of thing and ended up with about 60 to 65 community partners that decided to host a booth. And, they weren't, it wasn't mandated that they bring school supplies, but a lot of them will. We have people that even from the port, everything has been as far as, I wouldn't say necessarily donated, but they're coming in, they're volunteering their time to make sure that our students have exactly what they need. So I think it's really unique. I think right now the only thing that has been donated is like the use of the porta potties. So yeah, it's pretty unique opportunity for us.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Does the board have any questions on the event for tomorrow, the Resource and Career Carnival?
How are you letting our community, the students know? Because this is a great opportunity for them. It
Well-
sounds like to me they can get everything, right?
Absolutely. To make sure that they have everything they need for back to school supplies, absolutely. So we're utilizing our school messaging systems as well as our social media platforms as well.
In fact, Member King, just as I believe a message went out this afternoon as well, a second or third message about reminder for tomorrow at Parkfield.
Were we able to get it in the Taos News as well?
I don't know if we did or not.
Okay.
That part I don't know.
Not that I'm aware of, but hopefully they'll show up tomorrow.
I believe we did invite them to go to make sure and get some.
No, but the advertisement.
I don't believe.
That's,
I was just wondering if we were able to put it in the paper, but.
To advertise it, we didn't.
Mr. Baker was in Europe, but his staff was working. And let me know, because I know we're big supporters of the Taos News, and I'm sure they show some, reciprocal future reference.
I wonder if it wouldn't be too late if maybe we could make some contacts first thing in the morning. And what time does it plan to start? At 3? Maybe we could get on the radio.
Perhaps, and then as well as put it in Taos News social media,
Yeah.
now that I can reach out,
Yeah,
so.
good website. Yeah,
I
that's a
think
great
that'd be
idea.
great. Yeah, we would definitely want to get the community out there. Mr. Gonzalez, I want to thank you and the district and everybody that's worked towards this. I think it's a great event. It can only get better as we move forward. I believe that it really showcases our community's involvement and their willingness to participate in events like this. Partnerships are great. We talk about, and there's that age-old saying that my wife actually gets after me all the time because I say it all the time, that it takes a village to raise a child. And here we got people pulling together that are showing up, that are going to be providing various resources and
Just a little bit of fun as well, because I believe there's going to be some food as well as
food and
games.
activity and games. How exciting. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
No, you're absolutely right.
I heard that you had a baby, and I want to tell you congratulations from all of us.
Thank you.
Good job.
Congratulations, yes. Well, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Does the board have any more questions for Mr. Gonzalez or Mr. Superintendent Leon on his report?
I do have one more slide,
Oh,
President
please.
Flores, if it's okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
And talking about the convocation, I do want to let the board know, of course, remind them that it's Friday, Doors open at 1. It's for our entire staff, should be there. But I also wanted to mention that congratulations of the board, if you wish, will be judging the Spirit Stick Award. This will be the 3rd annual. Last year, Ranchos took it away from the mid school. Mid school is pretty smitten about that, and we've got a sports themed topic, and so it's going to be pretty exciting. So for the board that does attend, there's a criteria sheet in front of you that we've passed around to the entire district. So we're hoping that you can be the judges, so that way you can.
Put us on the spot, huh?
Yeah, well, we won't say who judged with what, but just overall winner. But that will be towards the end. And so we do have some jerseys as well, in case y'all would like to dress up in a jersey. All righty. Now, the last one is more of a public service announcement. The town of Taos did do a press release that does impact potentially some of our school routes. So on Monday, they placed a press release on Monday, the 20th of July. They're working on the sewer infrastructure improvement project, replacing of aging manholes between Valverde Street and Carvajal, as well as Ranchitos Road through Lomita. So we just wanted to kind of do a public service announcement as school starts next week on Tuesday, as it could potentially impact parents dropping off their kids to especially Enos. So I just wanted to do more of a public service announcement just in case it winds up impacting the roadways to Enos.
Well, thank you, Superintendent. Any questions or comments for Superintendent on his report?
Just make a comment. I know that, it's really wonderful to be able to welcome the children back to school. And I know several of the congregations have prayed over the children of our schools, whether they just be Taos Municipal Schools, the charters, UNM, the full community of children that are going to be attending school, and the teachers and the staff. And it was really, really wonderful to see that our community cares enough to pray for our children.
Thank you, Secretary Trio. Superintendent, I just wanted to thank you and your team for going to do the presentation at the Town Council Workshop. I think that's a great step to strengthening our partnerships with our other local government entities. And would also encourage you, if you get the opportunity, to possibly reach out to Taos County and try to provide a similar presentation at their county commission meetings, if they will allow that. And just wanted to give my appreciation for that. And I had a question regarding the school zoning and bus route update. So what I guess, let me see how I can phrase my question. So are we looking to add this new route or change the route? Is that what the intention is going to be, to bring that to the board for a discussion at a future meeting?
President Flores, Vice President, members of the board, that is correct. So it's interesting that we know our school boundaries, but it's been a while since the boundaries for each of the school sites, specifically more for the elementaries, have been solidified. In fact, we're still working on finding the documentation that shows the school zoning. But in an effort to also help enrollment and balance out the elementaries, we're looking at some of the routes that take students from, like, for example, Straight Arrow Road all the way to Enos. And it's a longer route. And so Arroyos actually winds up being a little bit closer. But before we even consider that or bring a presentation to the board, we have to get some parental feedback. This is one of the reasons why we did home visits, knocked on the doors, talked to the parents, sometimes the kids. But at the same token, to bring to the board of what we have, I would say, relearned about our zonings for the different elementary campuses. And so the potential is that we can balance out some of the enrollment at the school sites, specifically make it more efficient for some of our students who are closer to one elementary to attend the other. Now, we are open enrollment, so our parents do have a choice, but this is a particular route. So before we make that route change and let parents know that their child will be going, and of course that's up to the board, we need to at least advise them that we're thinking about it and get some feedback for the board.
Have we put some thought to maybe getting a survey put out electronically, maybe through our website and social media?
We can definitely consider that piece. This was more specific to that area
Okay.
because it is specific to a route. So we can ask, we can definitely send, but the feedback that we received from the parents and the families was specific to that route, which in the drawing is in blue right there.
Yeah, we probably, I didn't really mean it to intend to involve the whole community, more specifically, those areas and how it's probably difficult to get to every house. Or were you guys able to?
We were able to get to every house, at least knock on the door. Needless to say, I firsthand encounter, some of them were protected by some of their dogs, but we were able to at least provide that information. But at the same token, we were able to touch base with some of the parents who didn't realize that they were closer to one campus or another. But yes, sir, we did receive feedback. We documented it on the route, and we're hoping to put that together so that we can present a plan to the board.
Let's see here. Oh, and made a note here. You mentioned school site goals. Would it be possible for you to consider, Superintendent, that when our school site administrators do their first presentation to the board with the new school year, that they may be able to identify some of their goals? I'm sure that there's quite a few of them, but maybe if they could highlight some of the goals, I'd like to just be informed about what they're looking to achieve and some of the challenges that they're looking to overcome.
Absolutely, President Flores. And actually, that was one of the goals of having the data review, that when they do present, they're going to not only present the goals, but how it aligns to our new strategic plan. And if, I know I don't want to necessarily put Associate Superintendent Mondragon on the spot, but if she can just share a little bit of how the communication went with our school sites because of the alignment and who's going to complete what. Just to see if you could give a little bit to the board of how the communication went, the collaboration, how the goals align to the strategic plan, just a little overview of what you witnessed.
When we work through the strategic plan and did the action steps also, they were able to tie those together, but big plans and how we're planning on that. It was a really good conversation between the principals. So our coordinator, we're looking forward to the
Exciting, exciting.
That's good.
In a nutshell, we summarized it and said, look, these are the goals that the board set. It's our job to get it done. And so now let's align our school site goals to align with our strategic plan.
Well, I think it was a joint effort too, because what I really appreciated is the meetings that you all had that led to the content that was brought forward to the board to review. And, in the previous strategic plan, we did discuss how it was more of a board conversation and it was a board decision, but the process this year was night and day. And it's very important that our administrators and those individuals that work day to day with the students and the parents and see the challenges bring to the board what they recommend. And I think the board fully supports that. So, well, I know that we fully support that. So I just thank you guys all for your work. Appreciate it. Thank you. Board Member King.
Appreciate it, President Mark. Are we gonna get a new booklet with the in regards of our, yeah, are we gonna get that?
Yes, yeah, you'll be getting a bounded, actually, strategic plan. So we're working on that piece. In fact, we're trying to make sure we have the right size of spine, just like the way you get your board packets. You'll be getting individual one, as well as our school sites. They'll be getting multiple copies so that they know that this is the strategic plan that has been approved and it's not going to go on a shelf. It's what we follow.
Great. So when is your anticipated date, Superintendent, of our new?
We should get them within the next week and a half. But I will say, it is still it is available online though, in case, for anybody to see, but the hard copies, we can bring that in the next week and a half, by the next board meeting.
Thank you. Dr. Layton, I think if I could have 3 of them, it'd be great because I want to share them with foundations that have, I'd like to share that with them.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move on from our superintendent's report. I'm really excited for the event tomorrow. And then I guess I just wanted to reiterate and repeat myself. Superintendent, maybe we could reach out to the radio stations in the morning if we could try to coordinate. I'm sure that they'll welcome you just to get on the radio for a minute or so and speak to the carnival. Maybe take Mr. Gonzalez, and well, I'm hoping that they'll receive you with open arms and we could get that conveyed to the community. I'm not sure what your schedule's like tomorrow, but maybe you could carve out some time. Board Member King.
The Plaza Live, I think they would like you to be there too, Superintendent President.
Oh, I think all of us, correct? Tomorrow night is back.
Yeah, back to school.
Tomorrow night is back to school night at Taos Plaza Live. It's at 6 p.m. The board can try to be in attendance. Yeah, there you go. I think last year and this year they also extended an invitation for all of us to go out there and pretty much, allow us the opportunity if we had anything to say, but they wanted to start off with back to school night, I believe tomorrow at 6 p.m. Thank you, Board Member King, for that, because I completely forgot about that. Tomorrow at 6 p.m., Thursday. Okay,
Tomorrow.
Thursday.
Oh, yeah, the community school.
is from 3 to 6, and then Taos Plaza Live at 6 p.m. They
I
would like for the board to, and school administrators, welcome you all if you can make it to go. Superintendent, I hope you're gonna go.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Item 10 is board policy review. 10.1 is our Taos Municipal School District Policy G0800, staff dress code. I'll go ahead and read this. It's a short one, so I could read it. G-0800 GBEBA staff dress code. The Taos Board of Education believes that student and community respect for school and school employees is highly important to having a successful school system. One of the factors leading to that respect is the manner in which employees dress while on duty and thus present themselves to our students and community. Accordingly, the board expects all employees to dress for work in an acceptable manner. Specifically, this means that with the exception of custodial and maintenance personnel and physical education, the following attire will be considered appropriate. For men, pants, including presentable jeans and shirts with collars. Women, dresses, skirts or pants, including presentable jeans with blouses. Wearing t-shirts, sweatshirts, jogging suits, shorts, and the like is to be reserved for special spirit days declared at the individual school or school district level. With that being read, I just have a question, Superintendent, on this policy. You know, we've been experiencing quite a bit of hot weather lately, and I know that I myself, I don't wear shorts because I got skinny legs, but
Now we know.
and they probably need some sun, but nonetheless, is it allowable? Do we allow staff to wear shorts, or, yeah, I mean, it specifically says here for special spirit days, but is there some kind of maybe flexibility in that?
Usually that it's at the discretion of either the school site or superintendent. The reason I brought this up is because this is actually a policy that's been in place for, I don't even know when it was adopted. I did send the school site principals this policy just to let them know if we expect our kids to follow dress code, that we also have a policy we expect our adults. And so I didn't propose any changes or updates. I just reminded them that we do have a dress code policy in place, and the expectation is to follow it.
I think it's appropriate, and thank you for sharing this as well. Thank you. Okay, moving right along is new business. We got 3 items under new business. Our first item of business is 11.1, discussion, consideration, and possible approval of Aces Energy operational purchase order to provide mechanical, gas, and diagnostic services to the district for repairs to HVAC, water distribution, and boiler systems as required for the school year 26-27 in the amount of $180,000. We have presenting Mr. Alipio Mondragon, our maintenance supervisor. Mr. Mondragon.
President Flores, Superintendent Layton, members of the board. Today I'm just bringing before you one of many of our operational purchase requisitions that I'll be presenting this year to help us get through the school year with our maintenance and facilities needs. Today I'm bringing you our ACES X Energy purchase order proposal. This is basically an on-call open purchase order that we use with them that we've been using with them to provide services for our HVAC, plumbing, systems that are above our capability of fixing. We use it mostly for labor. We do use it for some parts, minor parts and repairs. If it's a bigger item, we'll usually issue a separate purchase order so we don't draw this down too fast. That's it. It's just routine. This is an yearly item that we bring before you, and I'll be bringing a few more of these over the next couple of meetings for your approval as well. So,
Mr. Mondragon, I do have one question. So we have historically used X Energy in the past, and if you could speak to your recommendation and your working experience with them.
So we have a really good working relationship with them as far as them being responsive to our needs. They do prioritize us as far as, if we have issues. And a lot of our systems, our HVAC systems, are older, they're aging, and we're sometimes overwhelmed with calls, and they will not only support us in person, but also over the phone through video calls or anything we need. They're pretty responsive, they're local, and I do appreciate that they prioritize us when something's happening, because it is the schools. They do realize that, it is affecting the students. So
It's good to hear.
a big plus with them.
Yes.
Hi, I don't remember what we did last year. Is this commensurate?
This is
Commensurate amount?
pretty much a repeat of what we did last year.
Okay, thank you.
How did we satisfy procurement?
So this is actually going through the ACES procurement process. So that is a pre-approved contract through ACES, and the contract is attached to your purchasing packet.
Secretary, through you, if I may. Also, so a lot of the trainings, the CPO trainings that we attend are done by Tammy West. So she is the procurement manager that has reviewed, and it's on page 8 of the entire packet. Tammy West has reviewed these contracts for ACES, but again, going by being CPO trained by her, I would give the benefit of the doubt on Ms. West as far as reviewing these type of contracts.
So ACES is like CES. They put out an ITB similar to what CES does, and people respond to it, and they vet them, ensure that they have insurance, and they list all their prices. And that kind of leads me real quick, Mr. Mondragon. So on the pricing sheet that's presented here, X Energy Mechanical is listed as their journeyman fee is $100 hourly rate, and apprentice fee as $75 an hourly rate. And on their proposal here, they have listed $110 for their hourly rate and $85 for their apprentice and labor fee. So there's a $10 discrepancy. What is listed on this ITB number versus what their proposal is.
Which I didn't see that. Which one is actually higher? Is it on the proposal
So
or?
the pricing sheet here, it lists X Energy Mechanical
Right.
as at $100 for a journeyman and 75 for an apprentice. And then on their proposal, dated, I think July 27, 2026, they have their prices at $110 and $85. So I would anticipate that being that they responded to this ITB and we're using this ITB,
We
that they
would
need,
get the pricing that's on.
that
the
they would
order.
need to honor
Yes, they would.
that pricing there.
Yes, they
If
would.
we could just confirm that.
I will.
And then also, I did take notice that on the contract here, yeah, on attachment A, the scope of services, the timeframe that's listed is November 22nd, 2022 through June 30th, 2026. So I believe that we're gonna need to ensure that it's up to date on that. And I also in reviewing, there's some conflicting dates. So that being one of them, and I did see one more here that I just wanted to take note, make mention of.
President, we'll double check, but I believe that's the contract that they have through ACES. But I will double check to make sure that it's in respect to the district versus ACES.
So I see the New Mexico, see the ACES here, the agency agreement and incorporating contract. The contract terms run through June 30th of 2027. So the ACES contract is correct there. I just think this attachment A was probably what was used last year, and it is accurate to reflect the services and terms, except that the date is June 30th, 2026. I think we just need to get that updated. I'm just pointing that out, being that it's such a high dollar amount, and
Yeah, I agree.
if we could look at that, and then if you could just talk to them about honoring the monetary amount that is on the ITB versus what they proposed. Other than that, yes.
And that is, I still think that, I mean, this is $180,000. And I'm thinking that maybe it, even though, again, it has the scrutiny of our procurement, that our attorneys should look at it for liability to make sure that we're covered, that there is, that there's no liability to the school at all, as these people work in the properties.
And they have been issued badges by the school, so they have taken all the necessary steps to get their clearances for all their employees as well. I don't know what other concerns there might be.
I think just we'll have, Superintendent, could you have legal just review it, and then we'll,
Just have legal review it.
Yeah,
And
that's-
because we have people on our property and they could get hurt, or again, I don't know what the protocol is, having people on our property, just to make sure that we're just totally, completely covered. Yeah, again, all the contracts should be reviewed by legal. Are legal.
any other questions, comments, or concerns? Superintendent, do you have a recommendation on this item, which is 11.1, discussion, consideration, and possible approval of ACES X Energy operational purchase order to provide mechanical, gas, and diagnostic services to the district for repairs to HVAC, water distribution, and boiler systems as required for the school year 26-27 in the amount of $180,000. You don't have to repeat that, just you have a recommendation.
President Flores, Vice President Spray, recommend approval of 11.1 as presented by Maintenance Supervisor Lippy Mondragon.
Okay, I'm comfortable. I have experience with X Energy. They do work. They have worked for the district historically, and they also do work for some other local entities. And based off their proposal here, they also service Penasco Public Schools, UNM hospitals, and PNM. I will make a motion for approval pending legal review and also the clarification that X Energy honors the ITB price identified versus the price on the proposal. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Secretary Trujillo. Call for the roll.
Board Member King?
I have a question.
Oh,
Question.
I'm sorry, President Mark. How are we going to follow up? Is that going to be, you're going to review that? Superintendent's going to review it?
Member King, members of the board, I can go ahead and provide that through an email that it has been reviewed.
Okay, great.
And that
Okay.
the monetary amount was confirmed.
Correct, sir.
Okay. So I motion for approval. Secretary Trujillo seconded. Let's restart the roll call.
Board Member King?
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo?
Yes.
Vice President Spray?
Yes.
President Flores?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Mondragon.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you for all your work. I know it takes a lot to get the schools ready and you're gonna have a busy year ahead, so,
Yeah.
appreciate your.
Thank you,
so much.
Alethea.
And your team. Thank your team for us. On item 11.2 is discussion, consideration, and possible approval of progress learning to support assessments at Taos High School in the amount of $28,000. Melissa Eager, Director of Federal Programs. Floor is yours.
Thank you, President Flores, Superintendent Dr. Layton, and board members. I have before you a proposal to change the assessment that we're using at Taos High. The Taos High leadership is very excited about progress learning because this assessment is designed to be used in high school, and it is aligned with the PSAT and the SAT. So this could serve as their interim assessment, so their beginning of year, middle of year, and end of year assessment. Additionally, teacher teams could create common formative assessments using this progress learning platform.
Any questions for Ms. Eager?
Would be great to have an example. Our leadership conference was pretty neat because we actually got to see one of the sessions, the requirements for seniors to graduate, which is great. I thought it was very helpful. I think Board Member Spray and I were in that. This was in Spray.
When you say an example, Board Member King, could you elaborate what?
Yeah, I mean, if there was a way to elucidate, how this would be in regards to implemented at the school, for future reference. It's more that you can get into somewhat of the details. It's great for us to see it. And it's nice to kind of see what the students are also, how it impacts them.
If I may, Board Member King, I can ask Principal Herrera to share assessments that her teams design as part of her board report.
Yeah, that'd be great. Email.
And if I may follow up, this actually aligns with our strategic plan because goal 3 is about specific or assessments that are pertaining to each of the school sites. And so with this type of support now, I believe the high school has identified one of their goals is increasing their SAT, which now this will go directly to our strategic plan or goal 3 for the school site.
Any further questions? So it is a change. It's a new assessment.
If I may, President Flores, yes, it is a new assessment. iReady is originally designed to be used kindergarten through 8th grade. We were using it in grades 9 through 12, which helped us identify students who needed greater intervention. But this will help us think about what we would really like high school students to be able to do.
Wow.
Good thinking. Superintendent, do you have a recommendation on 11.2? Discussion, consideration, and possible approval of progress learning to support assessment at Taos High School in the amount of $28,000.
President Flores, Vice President Spray, members of the board, recommend approval of 11.2 as presented by Melissa Eager, Director of Federal Programs.
Would any of the board members wish to make a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion, President Mark, to approve progressive learning to support assessment at Taos High in the amount of $28,000 presented by Melissa Eager, Director of Federal Programs.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion for approval from Board Member King for 11.2 and a second from Vice President Spray. Please call for the roll.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo,
Yes.
Vice President Spray,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes. Item 11.3 is discussion, consideration, and possible approval. Thank you, Ms. Eager. 11.3, discussion, consideration, and possible approval to extend by 1 year the contract for Jaramillo Auditing Group in the amount of $97,050. Dr. Rainier Martins, Director of Finance.
Actually, I thought Susan Trujillo would present that because she was in the audit committee meeting. So,
I think we had the audit committee meeting this past week to discuss in the committee itself about extending for 1 year. So Jaramillo Accounting Group sent an email quote to the Director of Finance, Dr. Martins, just reminding that we have 1 more year left on the contract. And then after that, the district has to go out for RFP. But we wanted to retain the services of JAG. The committee all agreed to retain the services of Jaramillo Accounting Group for this 1 year.
So we have a recommendation from the auditing committee.
Correct.
Superintendent, as common practice. First, what is your recommendation, sir, as our finance director?
I also did recommend to the audit committee the continuation of JAG. The main reason is, of course, JAG is intimate, knowledgeable about our forensic audit. It's intimate. Obviously, we did the audits in the last 3 years. And as the board might know, this summer, we updated our system seriously. I know that Taos has the system Vision since 2011 implemented, or let me rephrase that, purchased it in 2011 and uses it since 2011. And this fiscal year 27, I claim we implement this system. I would recommend that the board does a finance committee meeting, and then I can go in detail depth and show the finance committee what I mean by the difference of having a system and implementing a system. So, and therefore, this fiscal year, finance, also operations with the warehouse module, we can seriously start to address our audit findings. And therefore, I say it would be really good to have JAG still on board.
Superintendent, what is your recommendation?
President Flores, recommend approval of the extension by 1 year to the contract of Jaramillo Auditing Group in the amount of $97,050 as presented by myself, Dr. Martins, and I believe the audit committee as well.
There's a recommendation for approval by both our finance director and the superintendent and the audit committee. Do we have a motion? Can I get a motion for approval? Would any board member wish to make a motion for approval?
Make the motion to approve the 1 year contract with Jaramillo Accounting Group, JAG, in the amount of $97,050 one of the topics that was, again, we looked at Dr. Martins and finance to make sure that it was acceptable financially, and it was, so we went ahead and approved it. And again, we will, just as was proposed, that next year we'll have to go out for proposal.
Okay.
Second.
We got a motion for approval from Secretary Trujillo and a second from Vice President Spray. Please call for the roll.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo,
Yes.
Vice President Spray,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the next item is 12 future topics. Does the board have any requests for future topics? Board Member King, please.
Yeah, the storage. I had a chance to go into the old gym administration office. And I know we talked about was there any movement? Olympia is gone. I mean, there's literally, I couldn't believe how much. And I think that's all to be,
There's a lot of items
Oh,
stored
filled to the gills. Have you been over there?
to the.
The
high school.
gym over here.
Oh, no.
Gil, it's,
Well, I haven't been over there recently. I've seen it.
yeah, we really should, I think that stuff is all basically just junk and clear it out. It could be, I'm sure, repurposed for something a lot more efficient than just holding, it was quite shocking to see.
Any comment on that, Superintendent?
No, sir. I'll just place it as a future topic that we can bring up an update.
Any other future topics?
Nope.
Superintendent, I would like to propose, if we could change, our public comment from 3 to 5 minutes. I think people, by the time they get started speaking,
I think so.
at the town, they allow for 5 minutes, and I think will give them a little bit less stressful amount of time to talk. Is the board okay with that?
I am.
And then also, could we, with the public comment that was brought to our attention this evening, if we could schedule a review of the cell phone policy at some point in time. I know we're very busy getting ready for school, so, I don't want to put too much on anybody's plate. I do hear our public commenters speaking about student safety, and I'm not sure if there's any other recommendations on regards to the discipline aspect, but if we could just get that reviewed and.
On that note, it would be interesting to find out, being that this is statewide, how they address that topic.
Well, it's left up to the district to, correct, Superintendent, to decide how they want to implement.
Just the individual schools.
Correct. So the state passed a statute this past year, but leaving it up to the local control of how it's implemented. And so we did it the year before the statute was applied, but so we are good with that one.
And again, being that the constitutional rights are being addressed, I think that it would be important for us to come to talk to our legal and as part of the policy to make sure that everything is done appropriately as far as the policy is concerned and how it's implemented.
Absolutely, Secretary Through. In fact, right before, once the current policy was reviewed, we actually ran it through our legal services before we presented to the board at the last, I believe it was last year.
But just because it was brought up, and again, let's double check with them and just let them know that this was an issue that was brought up to us and how they would respond to anything of that nature.
I had a suggestion on regards to the discipline, and if there's any changes to the policy, I think of course it's going to be brought forward to the board, but one of the recommendations that I would have is that, yes, the phone is removed from the student and held at the school. And I would suggest that at the second time that the student is caught with it, that it is held until the administrator could have a meeting with the parent and advise the parent, maybe at that point in time, that so everybody's aware that if the student is caught with it again at school, then it'll be taken away for, those 20 days. I'm not sure what the practice is right now. I think we have to be firm because students, with all due respect, will take advantage of us. But maybe is there a meeting with parents that is?
That is correct. Parents are notified before any of that is in place. And so kind of going back to the involvement of the policy itself, the first policy that we passed in 24-25 had several opportunities for students to get their phones back. And what the feedback from the site's principals was, that process was being taken advantage of because they knew they had multiple opportunities. So then when we brought the committee back together, they reviewed. brought this component of the disciplinary measures or the components if you get caught. But to answer your original question, parents are supposed to be notified of having it picked up the second time or the third time and the consequences thereof.
As long as the parents are getting notified, because I have been informed that by at least one member of the public that their child's phone was taken away, and they were not aware that the phone was taken away because the student was, did not want to make their parents aware of it, because then they'd get in trouble at home. And it wasn't until that they, obviously, parents find out, and so.
I have another one that we might, down the line, look at, and that is AI. The AI, and only because, again, it has been recommended that it be utilized for different, in different areas in our school. But again, with what has been coming, what we've been informed is that the AIs have the capability of hacking other areas that without the guardrails. They have no guardrails as far as AI is concerned. And I think that we need to be on notice how we approach utilizing AI in Taos Municipal Schools.
Maybe at the next, do we have an AI policy?
That is one of the things that we're developing now that it's what I would like to say had a little bit more solidity to it, because every district was figuring out how to even approach this. But now we've been able to get some feedback data. And so one of the things that we now have to have is a policy. Now, what I want to be able to allow is Director of IT Communications, Maria Jadette, to speak a little bit, if she can, on its evolution and what she's learned.
Well, maybe.
But at a future topic?
Yeah, maybe what we could do is have a
Yes,
presentation. We'll have a presentation on AI, give Ms. Gentet some chance to prepare. And so, yeah, we'll have it's set plan for a presentation on AI at a future meeting. And then for the board, so this kind of falls into future topics. So we're scheduled or due to have a UNM Taos meeting, and Chancellor Gutierrez reached out to me, and she reached out to me and Vice President Spray. They plan to have, because we meet quarterly with UNM Taos, 2 meetings in the fall and 2 meetings in the spring. And they're proposing to the board to meet on the same night as the TMS board meetings. I know we had wanted to kind of get away from that and schedule that UNM Taos meeting not on the same night as our TMS board meeting. So I'm not sure if you guys want to continue to have those meetings separate from the board meetings. And also they're presenting a time of 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. And I'm not sure if that works for everybody. It would be better for me if it would happen about 5.
Yeah, I think board member culture as well. Yeah.
If it's
At
the
5.
night of a board meeting, we can't do it at 5 because we have to be here for 6.
No, we're gonna scratch that.
Gonna scratch
That's just
what?
way too much board meetings. So
Okay, so the issue for them was, from their point of view, was that we have not been really super diligent on all of us getting to the meetings once they separated them out. They've had times that they've had a meeting where they've called all their people and we don't have a quorum. So, and I think that they're offering to do them here at Rio Grande Hall, aren't they?
Yes.
So they'd be close in town. But their issue was they were calling a whole bunch of people together to meet and we didn't have a quorum, and that was frustrating to them. So if we do keep it on separate days, we have to all make a real honest effort.
I've got perfect attendance. I've missed one. That was
Okay,
a
well,
family issue. But
But
yeah, we
that's
should
not
talk.
just you, it's been a problem with the quorum.
Yeah. Talk to the people who, obviously one of our board members are not here. So I believe President Mark said 5 o'clock. That gives everyone ample time, or 5:15. So everyone has time
What do you
to
think?
attend.
What do you think, Susan? May I ask her that?
Whatever anyone decides. I'm
I
very
understand their
flexible.
problem with it.
I know, I understand.
But I think there was a consensus, though, that, having that meeting prior to this meeting and then coming to our meeting and was just a little bit much. but
I think they're fine with doing it on a different day. I just don't think that they're not fine with they have a lot of people in that room that they keep late. They have to pay to stay late for those meetings from the time they normally leave work. So
and we volunteer our time and don't get paid to go when we go.
Oh, we
We have
do.
half of the
Don't we get
budget.
$45?
We've
We-
gone per diem for a year.
No, we talked.
We don't.
Let's follow up with Elena, because she went to the ethics. She finally drafted that by the end of the year last year.
So
She has a proposal to
I'll propose to them 5:15 or 5:30. They typically last 45 minutes to an hour. And it'll be a separate day other than our regular board meetings.
But that we will make every attempt to have a quorum every time. That's only 4 times. We should be able to pull it off.
I think we can make that. I can think.
Okay,
Maybe-
all right.
I'm sorry, President Mark, maybe you can follow with Elena and see what is the state, is there any feedback? Because she did write up that proposal about us being reimbursed,
Okay.
and it hasn't been,
Got it.
we haven't heard any.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
So that covers future topics. Item 3 is upcoming Taos Municipal School Board meeting. Our regular school board meeting, our next regular school board meeting is August 19th, 2026 at 6 PM. I also want to highlight our carnival tomorrow, our Resource and Career Carnival that starts at 3 PM to 6 PM at Par Field. And then we also have the Taos Plaza Live at 6 PM tomorrow. And the convocation seating starts at 1 PM on Friday. It's at the TCA. And the convocation is to start at 1:30. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Anything else I'm missing?
We'll have mariachi play performing as well as our cheer on stage and of course our guest speakers. So
And the
looking
first,
forward to seeing you there.
Dr. Layton, how long do you expect that to last?
The event starts at 1:30 and it typically is about 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Okay. Thank you.
and then first day of school.
Tuesday, August the 11th. I'm sure all our kiddos are excited to
What time?
wake up. Depends on school site.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. All right,
But if you want to
so,
look at times, of course, go to our website and you'll find out. But
okay. So school starts Tuesday, August 11th. Okay, with that being said, item 14 is adjournment. So move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Just checking.